Hey there, my name's Corey, and I'm still here. I've I've been working through stuff over the past couple of days since the last video. I think the hardest part right now is just my thought life of being, I guess, for two reasons: fighting thoughts that I don't want to have, whether that be thoughts that are not actually happening, not reality, just kind of, I don't know if anybody else does that. Maybe it's just me. I kind of make up scenarios in my head and kind of go through them however it ends up being. For myself, it's usually kind of the extreme one or the other, of extreme good situation or extreme bad situation. So I've been, just trying to cut those thoughts and stop those thoughts, give them to God every time I can, and just not have to kind of fight through those. And the other piece, and a little bit more of a sad piece, I guess, is the memories that I have realized right now as I continue on in this struggle with my mental health and current state, is like I can't really think of memories. If I try or if I, like, I can, it's not like they're gone, but I mean, if I start to have indulge in a good memory, whether that be coming home or a drive or spending time with my kids, spending time with my wife, if I'm thinking back and looking at that memory, it right now, it always brings me to a place of sadness and I don't want to say despair. That's a little radical, but it's deep sadness. Okay, fine, despair, but it's kind of like the movie Inside Out, where, if you've seen the movie, the girl, Riley, she will, when she starts remembering and sadness touches the memory, like the happy memory, just it turns sad, right? So it's kind of a stupid analogy or comparison, but that's what I have it as right now. It's like every memory I try and think of, it just becomes sad. It just becomes like this unattainable moment that's already happened that I want to go back to, would give anything to go back to, but I can't. So it's just this, it overwhelms me in the sadness. So that's kind of those are the things that I'm currently struggling with, and it's going okay. I am doing, again, I'm doing quite well with just surrendering those, giving those to God, and not having to worry about, it's a constant process, unfortunately, where, sometimes I'll have to give thoughts constantly, whether it be on the bus or while I'm at work or while I'm at home, whatever. I'm just constantly giving it, and it's not a bad thing, because when I do, I'm certainly more joyful, and it's nice to spend time in the moment. And same thing with the future, with the kind of these situations that I'm creating, fights or really good things or whatever that I'm having in my head. It's better to not worry. It's better to stay in the moment. And so I'm staying in the moment, and I'm enjoying whatever I'm doing in the moment, whether that be, watching a show or playing a game or listening to music or a sermon or cooking or whatever. Like it is a good thing. It's just taking a lot of time and practice. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And the other, like, I think the struggle that I'm having as well, is I'll say it is almost like a guilty happiness, so the way I can kind of think of it is, if I start to become happy, I'll feel guilty, like I don't deserve to be happy, or like I shouldn't be happy. Like, I was just sad, I was just depressed, I was in this horribly dark place, so why should I be happy and joyful in only a few days or whatever? So it's hard, because I'm fighting that thought that it's wrong to be happy, that I should be happy, but if I feel happy, then it's like I'm letting myself down, because I shouldn't be happy. I don't deserve to be happy. The whole situation that I'm in, it's really hard to be happy. But then at the same time, and I realize that getting a little bit more biblical as I go, but I mean I can't find my happiness or my joy in a situation. I can't find my happiness just on what's happening around me. It needs to be joy from Christ, joy from God, being joyful in Him, and that's what I'm again trying to focus on, is just that joy in Him, not in my situation, not in what I'm going through, not in what I'm even in this exact moment, but looking to Him and seeing that as my joy is in Him and who He is, not in what's happening around my life. So, and that's kind of one part to the guilty happiness, I'll call it. But the other part to it is simply that I feel like I think I kind of described this in the last video, where I feel like I should be in a sad place because that's where I'm expected to be by those in this in my situation, or not necessarily in a sad place, but in a guilty place, I suppose, that I shouldn't be able to move past it so quickly, and that's a hard struggle, because it should be as easy as simply forgiving. It's simply as asking for forgiveness, and it's just bringing something before God and saying, like, I repent, I shouldn't have done this, whatever, etc., etc. But then there's this expectation that I almost feel is over my head, and there's a good chance I'm putting that over my own head, and I know that I'm my own worst critic 98% of the time, probably, but that thing over my head is just basically saying, well, why do you think you should be happy? Why do you deserve to be happy? Like, if other people expect me to be unhappy, then I should be unhappy. If other people are expecting me to feel guilt and not being able to move past this because I've made this mistake, I shouldn't be able to move past it in that amount of time or that quickly. That then I really take that on, and that's hard. That's hard to let that go and to just give that up, and to especially when it's people that you care about and trust, that if they're expecting you to hold on to something, or if they're holding on to it. I don't know if that's the case. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Maybe it's over my head, maybe it's in my head, but either way, that's something that I'm kind of working through and falling forward through. Aside from that, again, I'm continuing. I'm cooking, I'm reading, I'm trying to keep my mind at a good place, so to speak. I was saying to my colleague at work, as I said, I was kind of writing solo this particular weekend. It's like, well, I'm surprised you cook. Like, you don't just buy boxed stuff. And I'm like, you know what? If I don't keep my mind engaged in something, if I don't do something, then it's just going to go badly. If I'm not actively either trying to learn something or trying to do something, and it sounds more exhausting, I guess, than it is. It's just a matter of not letting thoughts overtake me, I guess. So if it's, if I'm worshiping, I'm worshiping. If I'm reading, I'm reading. If I'm cooking, I'm cooking. And it's just trying to be, again, being in that moment, at that time. So I'm cooking. I made some brownies the other day, scratch, which turned out really good. And I broke a bowl, which kind of sucked. It was a big bowl, and it was a good bowl, and slightly cut my foot, which was whatever, but the bowl was disappointing. So I still going, and I plan to do a lot of cleaning, quite honestly, this weekend. So that'll kind of keep my mind engaged, and play a game, read again more, and probably listen to a lot of music. But that's kind of where I'm sitting at. And then after the weekend, I think it'll be my first session with my official therapist in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But hope everyone else is well and enjoys their weekend.